You might be surprised to know that there's not a lot of walkable subdivisions in Durango and around Durango. You might be coming from or moving from a subdivision that's maybe in a bigger city like Dallas, Denver, Phoenix, where there's a lot of master plan communities, and we really don't have much of that here. There are a couple, but not much. So I really wanted to shoot a video for you guys on walkable neighborhoods so that you could really get a feel for neighborhoods that might be similar to where you're coming from, but have great views like what are behind me here, have a lot more amenities like what you see here, like fishing, trails, access to biking, but not just have hard, difficult trails behind your door, but not any walkable roads. So the first subdivision we're starting with, and actually let me back up and say what we're going to do is we're going to show you at least one subdivision in every part of Durango, so you really get a taste of what these walkable neighborhoods are like in each part of Durango. We're going to go in town, south, east, west, and right now we're north of Durango. By the way, guys, as much as I love shooting these videos for you, I love even more helping you with your real estate needs. So if you're even thinking of moving to Southwest Colorado, Durango, or even New Mexico, give me a call, text, or email, days, nights, or weekends. Licensed realtor here in Southwest Colorado as well as New Mexico. Would love to help you with any of your real estate needs. A few things I'd be happy to do for you guys: hop on a Zoom call, go through kind of a map tour with you on Google Earth, really show you the area that way and show you some areas that I think might best suit you based on your criteria. And then more than happy to give you a drone tour of specific subdivisions that you're liking, that you're interested in, as well as a walkthrough of properties. Let's jump back into the video. So right now we're in the ranch. Let's just dive into some specifics. As you can see behind me, they've got this incredible pond right here. They've got 26 ponds in total. Tell you a little bit about where we're at. We're 15 minutes from downtown Durango, and I'm using Buckley Park as a reference point. So kind of from the edge of downtown Durango here. And it's a really pleasant drive. It's 15 minutes driving on Highway 550. It's about a 60 mile an hour, 60 to 55 mile an hour speed limit. So really pleasant drive, just straight shot all the way to downtown. And this subdivision is really unique because it's got 26 ponds. As you can see behind me, it's got one right here. This is called Fawn Lake, and then there's Bear Lake up by the highway. Those are the two big ones. There's 24 other small ones. Almost every home is on a pond or on some type of water. Really incredible subdivision for that reason. They're all stocked with rainbow trout every single spring, and the fishing is awesome. Then what's incredible about this subdivision is the Hermosa Creek flows through the subdivision, goes through the 31-acre nature preserve that they have access to, and then it leads to the Animas River. And so you can actually have access to the Animas River to paddleboard the river, and then there's a takeout at Dalton Ranch just up the road from here. So it's only about a 40-minute to an hour long paddleboard ride, whereas just about anywhere else it's a much longer ride, or it's just trickier to do that. There's really not many other access points in this area in the Animas Valley. So just wanted to tell you a little bit about the subdivision first. And now let's talk about the walkability of this neighborhood. As you can see behind me, ponds right here. There's a big pond right up there. And so as you're walking through this neighborhood, you've got a fairly forested neighborhood, but also a lot of grass and just very, very green, lush neighborhood. So it's really an amazing neighborhood just to walk around and enjoy because you have so many different water features and you just feel like you're in Colorado. It's not like you're south of town or even other parts of the valley where there's just not a lot of trees. So I do really like it for that reason. To get into a little bit more specifics of the subdivision, homes are really ranging in size all the way up past about 5,000 square feet, starting down at about 1,100 square feet because there are some townhomes in here as well. Townhomes in here are incredible because there are some townhomes that are right on the lake looking out of the view. So some of these townhomes have way better views than even some other homes that are, you know, in that $1.5 million range that are single family homes. Now, correction on home sizes. Home sizes actually range from 16 square feet up past 5,100 square feet. And then lot sizes, they range from pretty darn small at about 0.1 acre all the way up to 3.2 acres. So there are several lots, only about 3 lots that are over 3 acres. They look out at Missionary Ridge, incredible open views, nothing behind them. So there's James Ranch behind them. They're right next door to us, a great restaurant. I recommend eating there, definitely checking them out. We We actually buy our beef from them. It's a really good spot, but they back up to us. And my point in saying that is they're never going to build behind us, behind those 3-acre lots. Then there are several homes on the Hermosa Creek, and those are about half-acre to an acre lots as well. But most lots are quite a bit smaller, as you can kind of see behind me here. They're kind of that 0.1 to quarter-acre lots. Now, what's very different about this subdivision, and there are some subdivisions in Durango like this, but they don't allow fences on most homes. So most of these homes, they want nature, they want deer to be able to walk through the backyards, and a lot of them have water features right behind them. And within 6 feet of the water features of the ponds is HOA. So they want people to be able to walk by those ponds, people to be able to fish in those ponds and enjoy them. So if you're really looking for a subdivision that allows fences, a few of these homes will, so don't cross off the list, but most do not. Now let's talk about what the HOA covers. So it's really covering a lot of the maintenance of all of this HOA property regarding all these ponds. They're stocking the ponds, they're taking care of all of this grass. There's a big field. There's also a basketball court, pickleball courts. There is that nature preserve behind us here that leads to the river, so they're taking care of just, fire mitigation, taking care of that nature preserve as well. So you really do get a lot for the HOA, but I will say it is about $2,600 a year annually. So it is up there compared to some, but you definitely get a lot for what you're paying for. One of the cons of the subdivision, some homes are, the entire subdivision is kind of right on Highway 550, but what's interesting about it is it drops down a little bit, maybe by 20 feet or so. So you really don't hear the traffic nearly as much as you would think when you're looking on a map. So something else I really like about it is amenities. So you've got almost right across the street from it is a Speedway gas station, and then behind it is the Hermosa Creek Grill. So they're open for breakfast and lunch, really good food. Then there's a food truck right at the Speedway gas station as well. Then James Ranch right next door to us as well. Not really walking distance because you're right on the highway there, but 60-second drive up the road up north of us. Then the other reason people really love this area is you're much closer to Purgatory Ski Resort than being in town, but 15 minutes of course. And with that, you're not at higher elevation here. So we're about 6,700 feet elevation here. So you are about 200 feet higher than in town, but we really don't get more snow. What I would say is on average, you're maybe getting an inch more or an inch less. It just really varies. It's kind of weird that way. Just being kind of tucked in the valley here, it just varies based on the snow. But if you don't want to get the kind of snow that Purgatory gets, you're not getting that kind of snow. All right, now let's continue to talk about walkability. So right across the street from the ranch, across the highway, is County Road 203. I think that's a great road to walk on. Granted, you're not in a subdivision, so if you really don't want to walk on a road where cars are going 35 to 45 miles an hour, sure, that might be something you don't want to walk on, or a road you don't want to walk on. I feel comfortable running on that road. I feel like there's not a lot of traffic, especially in the morning or evenings, but yes, the traffic does drive quicker there. But then if you walk around, you still got to go on the highway or on County Road 203, but if you go up the road, then cross the street from the Speedway gas station here, you're into several different subdivisions like Red Rock Ranch, Dalton Ranch, the Cottonwoods, basically a bunch of subdivisions that all connect together. So you have a good amount of private roads that you could walk on as well. So keep that in mind. There is more than just this subdivision, but they don't connect directly to any other subdivisions to walk on. So pro and a con, but just to kind of cue you guys in on how walkable this area is and what is close by. All right, now we're in Dalton Ranch. So Dalton Ranch is only a couple minutes south of the ranch where we just came from, and this is an incredible subdivision. Really green, as you can see behind me, green grass, a lot of trees just lining the road. Really nice subdivision to walk in. A lot of this subdivision is fairly shaded because of all the trees, but let's tell you a little bit more about it. So this is definitely hands down the subdivision in the valley with the most road to walk on, as well as paved trail to walk on. You can see the trail behind me. There's not a lot of trail. There's maybe, I don't know, half a mile or maybe half a mile at the most of paved trail, but then there's also the golf course. I'm not gonna say you can walk on the golf course, but if you live here, I would imagine that's not a big deal. Don't quote me on that. Then you've also got, it's just very flat as well. So compared to a lot of Durango, there's a lot of subdivisions that are just very hilly, dirt roads, a lot of that. And so this is a very flat subdivision, but then it also connects to other subdivisions. So it connects to the Cottonwoods. They have a pond in there. It connects to the Cove, which goes right along along the Animas River. Then the cove connects over to several other subdivisions like Red Rock Ranch. They have a private pond as well. So just some really incredible subdivisions as far as scenery. You're looking at that Missionary Ridge again through a lot of the subdivision. Then to talk a little bit more about the subdivision itself and not just the ability to walk, you will see that some fences are allowed. Fences are allowed in some of these homes where they're not on the golf course. They do have some townhomes in here that are backed up to the golf course, but all the homes on the golf course do not allow fences. You can have an electric dog fence. So if you're really concerned about a fence, but you're okay with that, this might put that back on the list for you. Again, you're only about 13 minutes from downtown Durango, approximately, depending on where the home is at. Then lot sizes are 0.7 to 0.82 of an acre. So some of these lots are pretty good size. Then there's a lot of water. There's a lot of ponds on the golf course, and that is something that sets the golf course apart from some other golf courses as well. Home sizes are 1720 to 3863 square feet. And I really like the style of a lot of these homes. Some of them are older, but a lot of them are gonna have that kind of open concept, big windows, looking out at the view, the style that a lot of my clients are really looking for. You don't want that home that's really broken up. You really wanna feel like you can see the views, really experience Colorado through your home. And so I think the builders have done a really good job of that. The reason I specify that and bring that up is you will see a lot of homes in a lot of different subdivisions where they don't address that, where it's just a funky floor plan, or you're just like, gosh, there's these views here, and they just don't really grab the views from those big windows, or don't put those big windows in. So I really want to specify that they do a good job of that for the most part in this subdivision, especially the homes that are looking out the golf course, out those views. Then to talk about cons. So there are several homes, some homes that back up to the highway, although they are all fairly far off of the highway. So the golf course is between the highway and those homes. But I've had clients that have not wanted to look at those homes because you still are hearing and looking at the traffic from some of those homes. For the most part, they do a good job of, pushing you back from the road so you're not right on it, like I said. But that is a concern. Always look at the map. Always, just look at the satellite view of a home if you're looking at a home in Dalton Ranch or really anywhere in the Animas Valley, like I've discussed in other videos. Now, I do want to specify, I have a video all about golfing subdivisions, and this is one of them. So if you want to know a lot more about golfing specifically, definitely check that video out. We'll pop that up here right now on the screen, and then I'll put a link in the description below as well. Now, Dalton Ranch is central water, sewer, and gas, La Plata electric. So that is really nice. Had a client ask me about that just the other day. Then they are doing a new subdivision, Dalton Ranch West. So right now there's Dalton Ranch North and South, and they're working on another subdivision right now. They're just breaking ground on it. So definitely keep that in mind if you really want to build. Reach out to me. I definitely can go over some more specifics, some more maybe pitfalls, things you might want to know, connect you with some good builders as well. So please reach out about that. Like I mentioned, licensed realtor here in Durango, Colorado, Southwest Colorado, as well as New Mexico. So would love to help you with any of your real estate needs. Let's give you some info about the golf course. So as a quick reminder, I do have a video all about the golf courses in Durango, Glacier, Hillcrest, and Dalton. But let's give you a little bit of info about Dalton Golf Course. So it is a semi-private, 18-hole semi-private golf course on 270 acres. 16 out of 18 holes are on water. You can walk on golf cart trails and sidewalks. No lots can have more than 1,500 feet of fence. Quite quick tangent on that, just going back to the fences real quick. That was in my notes. Say that the big thing that is kind of the differentiating factor on this golf course, for one, just the stunning scenery. You're right on the Animas River. You're golfing right next to the river. Missionary Ridge is right there. They've got a great driving range, super scenic, just right in the heart of the Animas Valley is the first point I was going to make. I asked somebody what he thought of golfing this golf course. He said that he golfs a lot of different golf courses all over the world, and he said this is one of his favorite. He said it plays fair but challenging. He said a big difference is that a lot of the holes are elevated and there's quite a bit of water, like I mentioned. So keep that in mind. Let me know if you have specific questions, but definitely check out the video all about golf courses where I go into a lot more depth, a lot more detail, talk a lot more specifics on the golf course itself. All right, now we're in an area called the West Avenues. So this is really just west of downtown Durango and west of the Animas River, as well as west of Highway 550, which kind of splits up downtown, the downtown area, and this area, the West Avenues. So what's very different about this than most subdivisions you're gonna see in a lot of my videos is no HOA, no covenants. As you can see, you're allowed to have fences, but it's a really pretty, well-kept area, even though there's no HOA. I've got a lot of clients that really want an HOA because they kind of make sure that the area is well-kept. There's not, you know, cars in the grass in the front lawn, but this subdivision, this area is just really well kept, a beautiful area. There's sidewalks throughout, and a really best kept secret, if you will, is it backs up to the Ned Overend bike park. You can't quite see behind me, I'll show you some drone footage, but bike park, bike area right behind me, and the trails are awesome up there. They are somewhat technical, somewhat difficult, they climb pretty quickly, so it's not like these are black diamonds by any means. Really good extensive trail system. They also go all the way up to Hogsback, where there is a double black diamond up there. So if you're really advanced, you know what you're doing. There's some great, really challenging biking back there as well. But if you talk about, hey, what's an area where I can really walk, really go for a 3-mile walk, you know, this is it, because it also connects right onto the Animas River Trail here. And so, yes, it's not a kind of enclosed subdivision in the sense of there is a double yellow line here, but there are sidewalks here as well. So there are a lot of subdivisions that don't have sidewalks, and this definitely has sidewalks. You're basically in town Durango. So 2 minutes to downtown Durango to be at the shops, at the restaurants here. And a few specifics on this. So the highest home sold in this area was 1.2 million. Then home sizes 906 to 3372. Lot sizes 0.17 to just about half an acre at 0.4 of an acre. City water, city sewer, Atmos Energy, La Plata Electric, so all on city here. And what's great is you do get some yards here. You're allowed to have fences. A lot of things that you might be frustrated with in some of these HOAs, you don't have to deal with here. Now you're in town, no covenants, no HOAs, so you can have chickens. Obviously you can't have things like horses because smaller lot sizes just wouldn't really make sense. Negatives of this area, you don't have an HOA. So again, like I said, a lot of my clients really want that HOA, really want to know that their neighbors aren't going to be doing anything crazy, anything that's going to be really disturbing, etc. They want to know that their neighbors are going to be taking care of their yard, that kind of thing. So that could be a con for some people. And then the traffic noise, you are going to hear some traffic from here, but it just depends on where the house is. You know, like I said, this is really a neighborhood, so you're not going to get a lot of traffic coming through here, but there will be a little bit. And then you are going to have the train noise that's going to be pretty close by as well. Just discussing this with a client of mine, he's like, I love the sound of the train. You know, it's not a disturbance. It's not like a train that you're going to hear in another random train. This train has kind of that particular sound, and everybody really enjoys the train for the most part, and you're not going to hear it early in the morning or late at night either. Now, distance to things, Durango High School, approximately 4 minutes. Again, this is a really big area, so just depending on where the house is located, of course, it could be 1 minute to 7 minutes, just depending on where the house is at in this area. City Market, approximately 3 minutes. Again, it's really, really close. La Plata Airport, approximately 20 minutes from here, 20 to 25, just depending on where the home is. And then again, the Animas River Trail, really just about a stone's throw, depending on where the house is in this area. But the Animas River Trail is just right there. Downtown is just right across the street, right across the highway. There are plenty of places to cross the street. There are several businesses on this side of the street too. So I just love it that you've got that, you know, you've got this sidewalk here behind me, and then you've also got the bike trail system right behind me as well. I recommend looking on MTB Project. You can actually look at the difficulty of those trails, look at photos of the trails, that kind of thing, really get a feel for what the trails are like there. Or alltrails.com, they have an app as well. Definitely check that out. Then a few other trail systems, Horse Gulch trail systems, kind of on the other side of downtown Durango. That's definitely one of my favorites. Then Animas Mountain, basically bordering on this subdivision, this area of the West Avenues. Animas Mountain, great biking, great hiking. That's one of my wife's favorite hiking trails systems as well. Really cool views from there as well. All right, then closest fishing, you're gonna be, again, like 2 minutes from the Animas River. Great fishing. As always, I recommend talking to Duranglers or San Juan anglers. You haven't gone fishing fishing, take them out as a ask what their schedule looks like for taking out a guide and being able to fish the Animas River. That way you can really get familiar with it as well. Definitely recommend fishing the San Juan River as well. They're down south of us, just across the border. They are incredible. Then you're about 15 minutes to Lake Nighthorse. Really great fishing there, but they've got a beach. They've got an awesome area that you can swim. They've got buoys. You can swim about a mile out as far as how far out those buoys go. They've got a no wake time in the morning, so you're not getting tossed around by the boats. They've got lifeguards. Like I mentioned, a beach. They've got a really cool kind of inflatable play area out there that they set up in the summer. So again, only 15 minutes away from this area. And everyone wants to know how close you are to skiing. So you're about 30 minutes from Purgatory Ski Resort right in this area. So basically right from in town Durango, about 30 minutes. And then a few other ski resorts. You've got Telluride, which is about 2 hours away from us right here in downtown Durango as well. All right, now we're in Three Springs. So hands down, this is probably the most walkable subdivision. Maybe it's a toss-up between Three Springs and Durango West. And the main reason is that it backs up to 47 miles of biking trails. These biking trails actually connect into the Animas River Trail, which brings you all the way down to downtown Durango. So it's really incredible for that reason alone. But if we just talk about paved trails, you've got at least 3+ miles of paved trails throughout this subdivision because it's just a much bigger subdivision. A lot of these homes are newer, although I will say the con, if you will, and a lot of reason, or the main reason that a lot of my clients don't gravitate towards this subdivision is probably just because it doesn't feel quite like Colorado, or maybe quite like Southwest Colorado, where a lot of people move here saying, I really want to be in the pine trees, have some views, really check some of those boxes, and those are really a priority. As you can see of the footage behind me and in the drone shots that I'm showing you, it feels a little bit more rural, a little bit more, you know, just less forested. You don't have those big trees around you. You do have some views, but nothing real grand and big in this subdivision. The prices definitely come down as you get into this subdivision, so it kind of makes up for it there. And it does back up to those trails. These trails are really, really good trails. My dad lives very close to this subdivision, I should say my parents, and my dad loves biking these trails. These are one of his favorite trails. Got a few reviews that I actually printed off that I wanted to read you guys. We love the sense of community, parks, trails. We know it will only get better as more restaurants and retailers move in. I work at Mercy Hospital. I love the commute. So you could literally walk to the hospital from here because it's basically connected to the subdivision. Another review, our grandchildren love the parks and the paths for bike riding. So along with the roads and the trail system, there's approximately a 2-mile path that kind of weaves in and out of the subdivision. They do plan to connect it to the Animas River Trail. I'm not holding my breath that it's going to be done real soon, but I'm hoping within the next couple of years. They did say, if not this last fall, that it would be done this year in 2024. So I'm hoping that happens, although I haven't really seen them start much work on that. But they are saying they're going to connect that from Three Springs to downtown Durango. So that is another reason why it would be pretty sweet to live out here. Now, if I didn't say, you're only about 13 minutes from downtown Durango here, then 15 minutes to the airport. So right in between airport and downtown Durango, then 17 minutes to Durango High School, and about 14 minutes to City Market. Again, those are all approximate depending on which home we're choosing to put into the GPS in Three Springs here. And then you've got Spurline Trail. You've got a bunch of trails that connect to each other in this trail system. I'd say overall, most of them are blues. There are some blacks. There's a lot of climbing, but there's also a really good biking segment, and maybe a mile long, that's great for kids, like younger kids that are just learning to bike. So that is probably the best area for kids that are learning to bike. Most other areas are going to be a little bit more advanced, just a little hillier regarding biking. And then to kind of hit on a few other things, you know, total 700 acres, 300+ acres of open space. Then they do have some good restaurants here. They've got Taco Boy, they've got Home Slice Pizza, really great pizza spot right inside the subdivision. So a little different subdivision in that sense, in that kind of right in the middle of the subdivision, there's some retail stores and some restaurants with more coming in. All right, so a few more reviews. Our family loves living here. Homes are beautiful, energy efficient. We can't wait wait to move into our new home. Three Springs is a great place to live. Friendly people make it a community that I feel part of with our kids and adults out and about using the trails and parks. All right, another review, and I think this is a really good one to hit on to kind of explain maybe one of the cons, if you will. So the review says, although the homes are close together, the neighborhood is very quiet. Most everyone is respectful and friendly. So I just want to hit on the homes being pretty close together. Some of them, how they're laid out, isn't your typical homes. Some of them have very, very tiny backyards, if any, and then kind of have alleyways where you can park, or alleyways just so that they could get the homes a little bit closer together. So it just depends on which home you're looking at specifically, but some of them are pretty darn close. And then again, like I mentioned, some of them do back up to this open space, and although the lot sizes are pretty small, they feel bigger because some of them do back up to open space. They are building onto this subdivision quite rapidly, so they have a lot more homes that they are planning on adding on. So keep that in mind. If you're not seeing much out there, they are building, so reach out to me about that and I can get you more info on that. Overall, phenomenal subdivision. You are closer to Bayfield, so if you want to get out that way to hit up their trails, Vallecito Lake, Lemon Reservoir, you're a little bit closer out this way as well. I think the biggest con, just circling back to cons, is that it's just a lot more open, feels a little bit more deserty, a lot more pinon trees. You're not gonna have your big pine trees and great views out this way because we are kind of southeast of downtown Durango. I know, let's talk about some stats of this subdivision. So the highest home sold in here was 982,000. Home sizes range from 1,000 square feet to 2,850 square feet. Something I didn't mention earlier is we have condos in here as well as townhomes and single family homes. So there is a good range of all types of homes in here, which helps you get in those lower price points if you want to still be in the subdivision and be in those kind of lower price points. And then home sizes are 0.06 to under half an acre. There's a few that have a little bit bigger lots, but most do not have much bigger lots at all. Then utilities, everything is central water, central sewer, La Plata electric, and Atmos gas. Then elevation is 6824, just meaning that you're a little bit higher than in-town Durango, but for the most part, you're getting less snow than in-town Durango or equivalent. It's really kind of varies a little bit, but for the most part, you're really not getting much more snow than in-town Durango. Then regarding HOA dues, $432 per year. Main thing that's covering are the parks, as well as the road maintenance, taking care of the roads, and snow plow or plowing the roads as well. Then regarding traffic, do you hear traffic noise? Not really. What's cool about this subdivision, even though it's off of Highway 160, you really don't hear much traffic noise at all because it's backed up off of Highway 160 by maybe half a mile or so. So that does really help. That might put this higher on the list for you if you're really concerned about traffic noise and you still want to be in a subdivision. I will say, good amount of parks throughout this subdivision. Awesome area. I would definitely live here with my kids, and I just see a lot of families, a lot of kids playing in the parks, so want to mention that as well. That I almost forgot to mention, they have a plaza, kind of a grassed area right in the middle of all of those businesses that I was mentioning earlier. And what's really cool about this subdivision, similar to Twin Buttes, is they'll actually have musicians out here in the summer. There'll be dancing, there'll be food, kind of a party going on. So definitely worth keeping that in mind, putting that on your list as well for things that they offer out here that they don't in a lot of other subdivisions. Now, another subdivision I want to talk about real briefly is going to be Durango West 1 and 2. Approximately 10 minutes from downtown Durango going west on Highway 160. These two subdivisions are definitely worth putting on your list as far as walkability. So they not only have paved roads all throughout, and it's a much bigger subdivisions. One is on the north and one is on the south side of Highway 160. So you're not going to necessarily cross the highway to get to the other one to have more road to walk on. But within each subdivision, or total both subdivisions, there's about 7 miles worth of dirt trails throughout. So it's great for even snowshoeing or cross-country skiing, but just walking or biking on in the summer as well. So that is really incredible because they just kind of lined throughout the subdivision itself, and it's not that they just back right up to it. So that's a really important thing to keep in mind because, again, there's not a lot of subdivisions that really have that right in the subdivision itself. There are a decent handful that have trails out their back door or behind them, but not right in the subdivision. So Durango West, I've just shot a video on it and have shot several other videos on them. So I'll throw that up on the screen and then I'll put the link below as well. The reason I really like this, close to town, has those trails, it's more forested, and the home prices are some of the lowest home prices in Durango as well. And you have some bigger lot sizes in there as well. So bigger lot sizes, trails, you're more forested. The con is going to be you do get a lot more snow in there, 50 to 100% more snow, because they're approximately 1,000 feet higher than in town Durango. So they should definitely be on your list. All right, I am back over in the West Avenues area, which is west of downtown Durango, west of Highway 550, just right on the other side, but within walking distance to downtown. And what I wanted to start by mentioning is these homes right behind me here, right at this, across from this park, all look over kind of this, they're kind of sitting on this ridge where they look over downtown and look over in town Durango, looking across at Fort Lewis College, these stunning, incredible views with these ridges across from them. So there are definitely some homes in here that have some phenomenal views. And like I mentioned, most are gonna have views because they've got these bike trails behind them, those ridges behind them, and then these other views on the other side of me here. Now, I also wanted to say, although I only showed you several different subdivisions, stuck to some of the bigger ones and some of the ones that connected to other subdivisions, for example, Dalton Ranch connects to several other subdivisions like the Cottonwoods, Red Rock Ranch, the Cove, and so you can get in more walking from Dalton Ranch. So there's a lot of other subdivisions, and I want to kind of address some of those. So south of town, there's subdivisions like the Knolls. They have a decent amount of walking, amount of road to walk on. Those are dirt roads. So in this video, I kind of stuck to the subdivisions that are paved. And then there are all these homes on the county, I call them County Road 300. So there's County Road 301 to County Road 311, 312 as they go out towards the airport. Now that is most of those roads aren't driven by any commercial vehicles. It's mostly residential, a lot bigger lots. So you're not going to see, in an hour, you might see 5 or 10 cars drive by your home, but they can drive a little quicker. Dirt roads, maybe not as well maintained as a whole. And then as you get further out towards further east, just a lot of dirt roads. So definitely still walkable, more hilly, more dirt roads. They aren't real small subdivisions necessarily. So I want to kind of bring that south and east area to your attention. As we go west, we've got areas like Twin Buttes, pretty small subdivisions, so not a lot to walk right there, but then they back up to the Twin Buttes trail system. We've also got Edgemont. As you're going east of town, you've got Edgemont subdivisions. They've got a good amount of roads because it's a bigger subdivision for sure. And then they also have about 10 plus miles of wood chip trails, kind of rolling hills, wood chip trails throughout there. One side you're allowed to bike, one side you're not. The Edgemont Meadows area, you're not allowed to bike. And then they've got about a mile of private water on the Florida River. Nice flat area that you can walk on. They've got a picnic bench there that you can have lunch on. So definitely a very, very walkable subdivision as well. I want to bring that to your attention. I know I didn't go out there, but I definitely want to discuss that subdivision. Definitely reach out. I've sold a lot of homes in that subdivision. We'd be happy to tell you more about it. Happy to get you docs on that subdivision as well. Now let's go further north. If we go north of James Ranch, north of the ranch, there's a lot of little gated subdivisions up that way as we go towards Purgatory. Definitely walkable, a lot more snow in the winter, but very walkable subdivisions. They're just really small. A lot of those subdivisions out there do back up to National Forest though, so keep that in mind. Then you've got some great overall hiking in that area. Tons and tons of hiking. You got the Hermosa Creek Trail, 38-mile trail. It kind of backs up to Purgatory Ski Resort. So there's just a lot out that way. Most of the subdivisions are very small of those. So regarding paved walking, not a lot out that way, but a lot of actual trails in the National Forest out that way. Then we get into town. Right downtown is very comparable to the West Avenues, the area that we're in right now as well. Guys, if you're even thinking about moving to Southwest Colorado, give me a call, text, email, days, nights, weekends. I'm a licensed realtor here in Durango, Colorado, as well as New Mexico. Love to help you with all of your real estate needs. Like I mentioned earlier, happy to put the drone in the air, give you a subdivision tour of areas that you're looking at or a property tour of a property you're looking at. I'm going to do a property tour for a client tomorrow. Just did one yesterday as well, and they really enjoyed it. So I walk through with the camera that I've got right here, get the drone in the air, send them those clips, and then discuss what their questions are on them, get them those docs. Just happy to go above and beyond for you guys and help you with all your needs, your real estate needs here in Durango. Looking forward to talking to you guys soon. Please make sure to subscribe, like this video, and share this as well. If you guys don't mind, throw in a comment. Let me know where you're from. Let me know if you have any questions on this video as well. I'll see ya.